Do you need encouragement to turn tragedies into your own triumphant life story? If so, this podcast is for you. Listen to powerful guests who have persevered through challenges so you can gain strength to build your championship life. The host of Professor of Perseverance podcast, Dr. James Perdue.
Hey, come on in. So we're going to get started here. Let's get all fired up, as they would say. All right. Hey, let's grab a hold of something here. You know, get a little gold nugget. I know you're tired of hearing gold nuggets, right? So let's get something that we can use to, what they would say here. So use something that can help us hang in like a hair in a biscuit. That's what we say in the South. Okay. Or hang in like a loose tooth. Grab something out of this podcast that can help you during your next challenge, next tribulation, next hardship, difficulty, bad thing that happened. Grab something out of this that's going to help you dig through and get through to the other side. And I don't care whether you hear this enough or not. Don't take it to the grave with you. It does no good. Share it, pay it forward, help somebody else to get through their difficult time. All right, today we're going to talk about this would be a difficult time if you're a woman, a man and a woman, want to start a family. For some reason, you have a little difficulty. So you go to get help, and she went and got some help and eventually had her problem solved. All right, let's go and get started. Welcome to the show, Cheri Bergeron.
You got it.
I don't know if I got it exactly correctly, but I did my best. I knew I was going to goof it. So
I think you did a good job.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And I can see like your artwork on behind you.
Yes, this artwork was done by my daughter. And so, yes, my story does have a happy ending, but it didn't.
Right. The benefit of your not errors, but your trials of tribulation and looking for a solution.
Right, right.
So, all right. Yep. I think we're getting close to my 300th podcast.
Ooh.
I think I may have one other. I think off the top of my head that had a little issues like you, maybe not like you, but went to the alternate route to trying to conceive. Mm-hmm. And so y'all are a rarity on this show here.
On this show, but I will tell you that infertility hits 1 in 6 adults worldwide.
I can believe that.
Yeah, so really it's a lot more common, and I think it's something we don't talk about, and that's why I'm here talking about it.
I agree with you. I think I wouldn't have known the numbers 1 out of 6, but I'm not surprised. Part of with their diet, part of with the environmental stuff, everything's going around us, and just things don't work sometimes.
Well, and part of people waiting longer to become parents. That's another thing.
Yes.
That's a big part of it.
That is, yes. Older you get, the harder it is to conceive. And then I'm a spinal cord injury. And so I just know on my side of the issue, spinal cord injuries have a tougher time.
Sure.
The male. Female spinal cord, they're just as good, I guess. But for us, for maintaining erection to be able to ejaculate may be a problem. And I know several friends that went infertility route to help out.
Yeah, and it is surprising that I didn't know that about 40% of fertility issues are due to the male, because in society, a lot of the focus is really on women. And so as I've been in this area, I've learned a lot about male infertility as well. So you're right. It's something both men and women face.
Yeah, I would. I'm not surprised that number's high as well. Okay. But you are right. It's always, why aren't you pregnant? To the woman, or you're doing the right thing, and but I'm not surprised that's a higher number for men. So, all right, Cheri, I'm going to shut up for a few minutes because this show is about you and your story. So you're going to be the hero and go through, and I'll jump in every now and again.
Okay. Well, I actually hope that your audience is the hero, because there maybe is someone out there who is struggling with wanting to have a child and feeling powerless about making that happen. That's really where I was. So like a lot of women these days, I really pursued my career with a lot of vigor, and I felt empowered, and I felt financially independent, and I felt very in control of my career, but I felt helpless when it came to building a family. And a lot of that centered around, who did I feel was the right person to have children with? Who did I feel that I could have children with? And being kind of a powerful woman, I challenged some of the traditional dynamics of relationship. And so I found that I was going on this merry-go-round of relationships, and time was going by. And in my mid-30s, I felt my biological clock ticking very loudly, and I married someone who looked good on paper, but who probably wasn't my best match.
Okay.
But anyway, because I felt that I had to have a husband in order to deserve to have a child, or get
the traditional family.
The traditional family. And I was raised in a traditional family. And I think that's where we get a lot of our values. But so that was at 36. And at 37, I didn't get pregnant. 38, I didn't get pregnant. 39, I didn't get pregnant. And at 40, I found myself in a fertility clinic seeking help. And I really found out the harsh realities of reproductive timelines. I did not know that fertility started to decline at the age of 30. And by 35, it was on a very steep slope. So sitting at the age of 40, my prospects of having a child without a lot of medical help were not very good. And that was shocking to me, because I had seen in the media celebrities having children in their 40s, no problem.
Yeah. These men 80 years old and wanting to whether they planned it or surprise or whatever, and they're all excited about being daddy for what, 10 years maybe?
Right.
I mean, hopefully 20 years, get to 100, hopefully, but they're all excited. And so when you said the 40% were men, I'm not surprised at that. But then you hear again the outliers. Charlie Chaplin was 70 something and still had children,
right?
And hear people older. So yeah, and that's why it goes back to people want to blame the woman,
right?
Because they don't know the men. It's part their fault as well.
Because
you're the one that takes two to tango, and but it all falls back on the woman. Why aren't you pregnant? Yeah,
right. And so the thing was, though, that I felt surprised that why are my options limited? How did I miss the memo? And at 36, that really started my 10-year fertility journey. I went through a lot of difficulties. I had multiple rounds of IVF. I actually decided to use an egg donor because I learned that the quality of my eggs was not good. And so I never knew egg donors existed. We all knew kind of sperm donors exist, but I didn't know that there were egg donors, and that if I used someone's younger eggs, let's say a 25-year-old, then my odds of having a pregnancy even in my 40s were as good as hers. And so I was like, wow.
I wouldn't have thought the egg donor as well. We've always heard about the sperm donor, but I would have never thought about the egg donor.
Right.
Okay.
And so, I had my children at 44 and 2 weeks from my 47th birthday.
Okay, good deal. Now, I know at one point, I taught school and stuff for a while, but I know at one point when you were over 40, there was a bigger degree of Down syndrome or to children, Right. So when you do the egg donor, that is taken out a little bit,
right?
Out of that because your egg is not older and withering away or whatever.
Well, so what you're referring to is the fact that egg quality degrades over time.
There we go. Thank you.
And that a woman is born with a finite number of eggs, all the eggs that they will ever have in their life. Men produce sperm on an hourly basis. women are born with a fixed number of eggs, and those eggs start aging from the moment that she is born.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so that's why I was saying by 30, the quality starts to decline, and it declines very rapidly after the age of 35. So at 40, both the number of eggs that I had and the quality of those eggs were not great. And my biggest priority was to have a healthy child. So using an egg donor gave me an opportunity not only to have a healthy child, but to experience motherhood, to carry a child and to deliver a child and then raise a child. So that was really important for me.
I saw something the other day, and I'd have to go back and research a little bit, but it was with, the IV fertilization, and yeah, they said that this baby born was the oldest baby born because it was like 31 or 36 years old from where it was conceived, and everything, and then put into the freezer, whatever you want to call it, and just sat there for 30 plus years, and finally someone, and I saw that the other day.
James, I blogged about that very story. So
did you? Okay.
Oh, yeah. So
it's amazing.
That the new baby, his name is Thaddeus, and that was through embryo adoption. So what happened was that mom had gone through IVF, had her daughter, and then froze the rest of her embryos. And they remained frozen in time for 3 decades. And when she got to be 60, she decided she needed to make a decision about what to do. Yeah. And there was another couple who desperately wanted to have children, and they could not afford the full IVF process. And so they adopted her embryos through kind of an open adoption. And Thaddeus was born. It's amazing.
She should have put him on eBay. Put him up for auction.
And Thaddeus has a 30-some-year-old sister.
Yeah. That was amazing. I saw that. I mean, I was surprised of the story because, one, I didn't know how long the all that would last. Okay, but to me, it's just a miracle in itself, and it's just amazing. So
it is to know
I
that
just I get all into. I mean, this. Yeah.
Know that the technology 30 years ago, most clinics would not work with those embryos because they really questioned what the techniques were 3 decades ago and what the viability would be and all of those things. But there was one, you know what? It actually was in Tennessee.
Hey, now we're talking Tennessee.
The clinic was in Tennessee. Oh, wait. Maybe that's not true. It's either in Tennessee.
Oh no, keep it in Tennessee. don't bust my bubble. I'll look it up, and it may not be Tennessee, but if it is, I'd like to know that.
It was in the South, I know for sure, and it was either Tennessee. Now I'm going to second guess. It was either Tennessee or in Alabama, but it was in the South.
It's got to be Tennessee. It can't be Alabama. So. All right. We've got that Alabama football we have to worry about. So, all right. No, I just think
it happens in Alabama.
There you go. So, especially since Nick Saban left, right?
There you go.
Now this is, I'm just all, I mean, because when they first started all this, who would have thunk 40 years later that they're still good and alive and preserved and ready to be used? I mean, I'm sure a lot of it's still trial and error the older they get, but I would have never bet on it.
No, I mean, I think literally he was frozen in time, and there are over 1 million frozen embryos in the United States alone right now.
I did see that in another article I was reading. Yeah, that how many, and I think people were wondering what are they going to need to be doing about it in the future, because people are going to continue on. There's going to be another million not too far along from here.
That's right.
So they've got to start making a decision on how to keep storing or time. Now, let me ask a question here. I know this is stupid, but I'm good for knowing asking stupid questions. So, mama egg, daddy sperm, put them in the petri dish, do its thing, and then one or the other says, "Nah, I don't want to have my child is not coming from you, your sperm. No, we're." And then the other one go, "But no, you're not destroying my sperm," or vice versa. So what happens with that little? I guess it's an embryo. I guess.
It is. And
Yeah.
you're really hitting upon a lot of ethical
Yeah. Exactly.
discussions about
Yeah.
IVF, because historically, embryos have been treated as property. So when you go through a IVF cycle, they have you sign paperwork that says, in the event of divorce, who gets the embryos, and they make you decide that before they even proceed. And so in my case, I was the owner of the embryos in a situation where my husband and I didn't stay together. But you're right that if I went ahead in that situation, I could potentially go to court and say, this is your child and you need to support this child. Or certainly in our court system, they could do that. And so these are some of the complexities. And there's also, many people have religious beliefs to say,
yeah.
As an embryo, that is
You're playing God, and
a
they want.
person. That's a
Yep.
person.
So,
And, does that person have rights and those kinds of things? But
is it thrown into the? Is it thrown in the mix? Say again. Say the woman says, "Hey, I'm done with this. We're going to throw them in the trash," and then the guy goes, "Wait a minute. I mean, get it like an abortion. The woman says, "It's my body. I don't want it." But the man says, "No, I want to take it," but he has no say so. So I guess.
Well, it depends who owns the embryos. Yeah, it really depends.
Yeah. There, I was just talking traditional abortion like that.
Yeah,
The woman says no, and the man has no say so, and even though he would say, "I would raise it," but in this case again, so if the man had control, then she has no say so about if he decides to, let them die. I guess whatever they do,
right.
She would have no say so.
So currently, I think these things are being challenged in court, that there are sort of like custody battles over embryos and things like that. I think those are some of the evolving things. I know I've seen judges say that fertility is a bit of the Wild West, in that these things are evolving. Technology has evolved faster than, say, our ethical considerations of all of it. Now, I have to say, I'm very pro IVF. IVF gave me the family that I never would have had otherwise, but there were a lot of complications to it. But maybe you want to talk about the perseverance side of things as well.
I'm all in. I mean, yes, we would get into that too. Yes, but I'm just all enthralled with the technology.
Yeah, no, it's amazing.
And it's only going to get better over time. Okay,
right.
And now you mentioned you got an egg donor. Was your husband's sperm?
So
or do you go the other route and get a sperm donor as well?
Well, for my first child, it was my husband. And then when we were no longer together, I had an independent pregnancy with an anonymous sperm donor. So I did both. But I'll tell you that my pregnancy with my ex-husband's sperm was very problematic. And my pregnancy with the sperm donor was a breeze, even though I was years older. So
yeah. Okay. I understand you had a hostile environment for your husband's. Get away from me, man. That's what it was. Well, get away. I don't know.
Actually,
I'm kidding.
I know. But actually, the important thing is he had an undiagnosed genetic defect that the fertility clinic didn't test for. And so one of the things I'm very passionate about saying is, if you're going to pursue IVF, please make sure that both the woman and the man get tested, because I lost 2 children due to that undiagnosed genetic defect. And so that is incredibly heartbreaking. That was just a part of my journey.
I know a friend of mine, Mike, could talk with you now, man. He tried him and his wife, and I tried 2 or 3 times. It was like $10,000 at a time. And finally, it just didn't work with them, and they adopted 3 children. Okay, so they had their family. So it get expensive. But I'm thinking if I was going that route, I'm going to be spending that kind of money. I'm going to say, let's get all the genetic testing we can to make sure it's going to be as healthy as possible.
Yeah, I can tell you
Not
that.
that I'm saying there's anything wrong with children with disability, it's going to a loving family, the child, but I would want it to be as healthy as possible.
Of course. And the thing is that the test would have cost $3,000. My son lived for 19 days and his medical bills were $750,000.
Yeah.
So just thinking about not just the expense, but the heartbreak of having to sit and watch your child suffer and have a condition that's incompatible with life is devastating, especially to have gone through all the lengths of wanting to have a child so badly and then end up losing that child. So, that I'm just lovingly throwing that out to anyone who's listening and considering IVF. Please do get both parties tested so that you can have the best chance of a healthy child.
And I got to go back here for a second. You did say perseverance, so let me give you a fist bump. All right.
You?
We work in perseverance, we get a fist bump. So, hey, Dead America, thank you for coming in. Hey, Ed, appreciate you, buddy. And yep, we got a nice topic here. Anybody else? After you listen to the Professor of Perseverance, head over to Dead America podcast and catch a couple of them with Ed. So, all right, Cheri, but this. Yeah, when you mentioned, say, get into the perseverance, it's many years. We already know the perseverance, so that's there. But again, give us some of the you're pregnant. All right. Oh no, it didn't work out.
Right.
Or like you said, a pregnant gave birth, and then 19 days later, you said.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not all the. We had 2 healthy children. Here they are, boom, bang. There's some bad times with it.
Absolutely. So IVF is really a roller coaster. Any infertility treatment is really difficult for both the man and the woman, but of course the woman's on the front line of it. You get your hopes up. And I always say I lived my life by 30-day increments, that you'd start a new cycle, be so hopeful that things were going to work out. And then a few weeks later, your dreams are just devastated and you're back at square one, feeling like all that was for nothing. And this happens so many times for women. And often it takes multiple cycles of IVF treatment before a pregnancy. And then you don't know if that pregnancy is actually going to be viable. A lot of women experience miscarriages. In my case, with my son, I took him all the way to term, but it was a high risk. They saw some things that were concerning about him. And he and my daughter were actually twins. So this was more gut wrenching because what happens to one twin essentially happens to the other. And so we were trying to sustain the pregnancy as long as possible. They didn't know if it was serious or if it wasn't. There's so many things in utero that the professionals don't understand. But what we found out was that very close to term, about 6 weeks early, we had to deliver him because he was in distress, which also meant that my daughter was premature too. And he lived long enough for us to find out what the issue was, which to me was one of the real blessings of things, because otherwise I might have continued on and used those same embryos. And I had a 50-50 chance of a catastrophic result due to this defect. So, there are always hidden blessings, even in the most tragic of situations. My daughter then was premature, and we spent 40 days in the neonatal ICU with her, and she had every one of her systems was premature: her lungs, her heart, her digestive system. She was developmentally delayed for several years. And today, this is all the artwork on the wall. That is her. Right. She is almost 13. She's a grade ahead in terms of her academic achievement. I just am really wanting to tell people that there is hope. I felt so isolated in the process of infertility that I couldn't share the deep pain that I was going through and the disappointment, because it's really hard for people to handle it. And it's also difficult for some people to understand. I mean, so many people get pregnant effortlessly, and they really can't understand the trials and the journey that one goes through to try to have a child and have the family they want. And so I felt very alone, and especially after losing a child, this is a pain that no one knows how to deal with, because it's probably every parent's greatest fear. I know it is. And so we don't know how to talk about that.
Yeah.
And, that's why I wrote the book, Mission Motherhood, to share my experience so that women would know, one, that they're not alone in the struggle, but two, and there it is, my little bunny,
There it is.
bunny for fertility. And then, the crown being that this wasn't quite the picture perfect fairy tale. But the thing is that there is hope, and I want you to feel empowered that you can create the family that you dream of. It may look different than the traditional fairy tale, but you know what? There are choices, and you do have options, and there is hope to create that family that you want.
I know I got another dumb question here.
Oh, good. Okay.
I mean, but this is a question that it just seems it would be a natural yes. Ben, you want to be a mother so bad and everything, and then you experience pregnancy, then the loss. I mean, I'm sure you're down and about and everything, but I mean, you into, even though it's a donor egg and everything, you still feel like you're the failure, even though it could have been the embryos, just wasn't exactly, you know what I'm saying, up to par.
Yeah.
You feel like you're the one that's because it didn't go all the way like you would have wanted or should have gone.
Of course. Well, I think as women, we blame ourselves for all of the pieces of it. So, do I deserve to become a mother? Does God support me in becoming a mother? Did I lose out on my chance of becoming a mother because of past decisions that I've made, pursuing career, all these things, all these voices coming from us, but also sometimes some of these voices came from family members. And a lot of these voices come from society saying these things to us. And so it's very painful. And then if something goes wrong, what did I do wrong? What was this my fault? Did I cause this? Or is this my karma? All of those things. And the fact is, I don't believe that's true. I do believe there are reproductive realities that we need to understand, because there are actual biological facts of our reproductive timeline. And we need to know this. But I also believe, and spiritually, that God wants us to get the desires of our heart. And if we're leading with love, I believe that God is with us in those things. So I know this isn't necessarily a religious podcast, but I think
we've talked about God before here. So
well, I would say this, that,
let me ask this question. You can jump in, but let me ask, for the ones that are, well, even the ones that are really religious, and they come to say you're playing God, by doing this, what's your response? God didn't want you to be pregnant. That's why you're not pregnant. But you're going to do this outside of the traditional way. Now you're playing God. So what would you say?
I
know what I would say.
Well, I have a different perspective. I say that I partnered with God on this. My belief is, who gave these doctors the gifting to be able to create all of these miracles for people?
Amen, sister. That's my answer.
Yeah.
If it wasn't meant to be, God wouldn't have gave this thought to do this and the people to professionalize it, the technique. And that's exactly would be my answer is if he didn't want it, he wouldn't have put the people here to help us do it.
And I believe, though, the other thing is, what is your intention? Because I think that God sees our heart, and he knows the kind of mother that I wanted to be and how committed I was to this. And so the motive was love. And I think wherever there is love, there is God. And I went to a reunion of my fertility clinic. They have been in business for, I think, 25 years at the time. And they had delivered 20,000 1,000 babies.
Wow.
And I saw all these families in this park with cotton candy and clowns and all these things. And I thought, there's no way that God is not here celebrating all of these children and all of these families.
Celebrate life.
So I believe that that's sort of a limiting view of God when that people have that perspective.
Ed, my man, thank you, Dad America. Up on the screen, great conversation. Thank you for sharing with us. So, all right. Now I want to ask this. I've never thought about that until I'm here to listening to you. So you done made me thunk up something here. So the children from IVF, can they have a normal reproductive, everything's good as gold, or do they have to go through this route,
No.
alternative route? I mean, of course, they don't have to have children at all either. But I mean, is everything good to go with them born?
I mean, a new baby is a fresh start.
Of course, again, it's depends on everything. I understand it. Yes and no, I understand it. But let's just say they're growing up there and want to have children, and is everything? Or you know what I'm saying? Or do they have to?
No, I mean, infertility is an individual struggle. So when you have a new person, that is a fresh start, and they have as good of chance of anyone else having a child, unless there's some
traditional or taking the other route.
Of course, yeah. I mean, just like
it's no different. Okay,
just like somebody from divorced parents can have a 50-year marriage and have a wonderful marriage. It's all about individual choice. And that's really, that's why I started a nonprofit actually called Cheri's Choice, to provide education and counseling to help women on this path, because I felt very ill-informed when I went through my infertility journey. And I don't want that to be the case for other women. So we provide information, and we have workshops, and we provide counseling so that you can kind of bounce ideas off. I feel that no woman who feels called to be a mother should be deprived of that dream.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I remember the first time I heard about man, woman, wife, husband, wife wanted to. She couldn't carry the child, so her mother carried as a surrogate. And then, I'm thinking, wow, the technology and the way things are today. And who would have thought outside the box? Well, you can't carry it. How about your mama carrying for you? I mean, for someone to think outside the box of that, because I wouldn't have thought that.
Okay, James, well, I'm going to blow your mind now.
Okay, here we go.
They are working on technology where a robot could carry a baby.
I did see that on the internet, and someone had brought that up. Some news show, I guess it was. And
now there's a hoax out there. There's
a
hoax out there that in China it's already happened, which isn't true. I actually kind of got hooked into that one a little bit, but I do believe that ultimately there will be ways. And I kind of sit there and think, well, is that a good thing or is that not a good thing? A lot of same-sex couples, or even, women who cannot carry, surrogacy brings a lot of complexities. Now you have a whole nother person involved in this. Like, I could see how there would be benefits if you could remove that fact that you had an additional person in the process. There are surrogacy attorneys and all of these things, as you can imagine, that you have someone carrying your child. It really does get into this slippery slope of things. But what a lifesaver for people who aren't able to carry a child for whatever reason.
I was reading one time, something was brought about technology, and said people today are training for jobs 20 years from now. Nobody has any idea what it's going to be. And so I don't know about the surrogate robot, because to me, and I know they'll perfection it as a human, but to me, you don't have mama talking to the baby. You don't have daddy talking to the belly of the, mama and the baby. But they'll have a robot tape recorder or something going to sing to it or something. But I would think that lack of human touch, compassion may make a difference when the
I would
child,
think so
I would
too.
think.
I mean,
Yeah,
I struggle with that too. My whole thing is I don't think that you can create life in isolation of the creator of life. That's kind of
yeah,
my
yeah.
feeling. While it kind of did a number on my body as it does for so many women's bodies, it was truly an honor for me to be able to carry my children
Oh, yes,
and
yes.
feel that connection. So, I mean, I think that's women's superpower that you guys don't get a chance to do.
Yeah, exactly. So, again, I don't have any children, but if I did, uh, I don't think I'd be the one to want to carry. So, to go through all the pain. So I would be the wuss of the two during that era. So, I don't think I can take all that pain.
Well,
So,
I had a C-section, so I have to tell you that I did all my pain on the front end of things, and I didn't have to go through natural childbirth. I felt like I had suffered enough, and
there you
that
go.
wasn't necessary.
What was that show? Um, and Ed's got a question here. What was that show? Was it Arnold Schwarzenegger and he was the man carrying the baby? I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, I don't think so. Ed got a question here. Cheri
Okay.
said, did the ex-husband get visitation rights? Does he have visitation since he is the sperm owner
Right.
for the first one?
Right. Well, Ed, you're really opening up a can of worms there, because the thing is that before I actually knew I was pregnant with the twins, he waived his rights to the children.
Okay.
And
I wouldn't have done, let me
Mhm.
yeah, finish that. But
And
did he give his sperm before y'all divorced, or did you come after divorce and you go, hey, can I have that sperm before we leave for good?
yeah.
Um, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he
No,
he,
we were
he was
together at
sperm
the time.
before.
We
Okay,
were
okay,
together at the time,
okay,
and per our agreement, I would get the embryos if in the event of divorce. But we
okay,
actually, he actually waived his rights before we got to that point, but then later changed his mind.
okay. I see. I could see that now that someone's here. I want to be part of that life.
Right.
Because I could see that.
Right.
Okay.
So these are some of the complexities that happen. And so we do co-parent my daughter. Now, here's the real plot twist. I then went on to have my own child with an
Hmm.
anonymous sperm donor, as we talked about. And we were legally separated, but not technically divorced. And 7 years after we legally separated, he sued me to become the legal father of my son.
I was getting ready to ask, and I think now that you say that, I read this story. I think I read this that a dad come back later and wanted to be the dad of the non-participant sperm donor, and I think I read this story now that you telling this to us. So,
Yes.
all right. So, how did that work out?
So $250,000 later, I won.
That's all. Jeez.
And I had to give up visitation of my son for about 6 months. So this was
Wait a minute now.
actually
Okay, you had to give up visitation rights of your son. I mean, for why? Why would you?
because yeah,
If I would
because there
think,
are laws in just about every, I think in every state, that are
uh huh.
called presumed father laws, that say that if a child is born during a marriage, then that man is presumed to be the father. However, he didn't participate in any way in the creation of him, and he wasn't living with him or financially
Exactly.
supporting him or anything. And it took me 7 months to prove that.
Now that you're bringing refresh my memory, I told you I had another podcast with someone that went through IVF, and they were telling this story. Not that I read it; they were telling your story about
Really?
coming back. Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're like you; they want to know as much as they can about what's going on, so they can help educate other people.
Yes. So this was really the driving reason behind writing the book. And then also the creation of Cheri's Choice is ultimately to get the laws changed so that, because really our laws have not kept, there you go, available on Amazon.
Right.
But really our laws have not kept pace with our technology.
Oh, I can believe that.
And with our family building processes. And so it fundamentally challenged the rights that I had as an individual to pursue an independent pregnancy while I was legally married. They argued that he owned my uterus.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. I mean, that's a big having to face with the abortion laws and everything. You can't abort that child. That's my uterus. If they would have won that. So, wow.
But this was sort of the exact opposite. Right?
Yeah. So, but they're, again, thinking outside the box. But I don't see how they think they could own that when it's your body for that. So, okay. I'm not as smart as them, I guess. So,
well, I don't think they were.
I'm just using natural instinct thinking, not out of the box thinking, I guess.
Well, they lost. So I think that argument did not work.
I could see that they would lose that, yes. So, okay, go back to first child. Did you give rights for him to have visitations? And then did you say, since you're going to be, well, you did say co-parenting. So did you go back and say, all right, I need some child support if we're going to do this together?
Right. Well, the thing is, I would never, this was the difficulty, that even though I could have challenged those rights because he had waived them, how would I explain that to my daughter?
Yeah.
When her father wanted to be involved with her life, that is just not something that I would ever be willing to do. The question was really, what are the terms of all of that? And so I did feel very misled. Had I waited until we were legally divorced, they would have been mine and he would have had no parental rights at all. But at the same time, I would not have kept that relationship from her because that damages her. And I just didn't think that I could look at her and say, this man wanted to be part of your life and I was not going to support that. So we did, though, make a big mess, I have to say. And so this is another reason why I'm very passionate about giving women the information. Don't marry someone. Don't sort of try to force fit the fairy tale just to become a mother. I think I would have been better off allowing love to find me in its own time and pursuing my dream of motherhood, perhaps out of order. And these are some of the options that we have. And I think it's important that we, choose our partner wisely.
Well, the good thing is you're not old enough. You can't go for the new husband and another child. The way everything's go with IVF, you're in good shape for a third one. So,
no, thank you.
Find the healthy relationship with the new husband, and there you go. You're in business.
Well,
I'm just with this technology. It's kind of scary to think in the future what it's going to be like. So, but everything is, like I said, come from 40 years ago to where it's at, and relatively, there's bumps in the road, but we're going to have bumps in the road without everything. And just have to work around it and come up with new and better laws to help protect everybody involved, especially any children involved with that.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, don't you think that any new technology brings unintended consequences, unintended things? And so that's really the challenge. That's the tricky part of things.
Well, there's, just like regular life, there's things that we didn't think of it could happen. Then when it does happen, we go, oh, and then we got to work around it.
That coming.
That's right. We got to work around it. So, all right, Cheri. Well, I've been blessed with this. But after you were telling your story, especially when you talk about the husband I was going, I think, first I thought I read it, but I think it was one of my other ones that I had, and they were telling me that story. So,
Well, what I want women to know is that you might go through a difficult journey. It might have a lot of ups and downs, but if you feel passionate that you were meant to become a mother, it is possible. Check out the resources on Cheri's Choice. Feel free to reach out to me. I really have a heart to help women become mothers on their own terms. So I hope you will.
hey, well, tell other social medias how to get hold of you.
Yes, I mean,
Your website.
I'm on LinkedIn. I have CheriBergeron.com is my author site. I have Cheri'sChoice.com, which is the nonprofit, and I would love to hear from you.
And I'll get this information and put in the show notes to make it easier for people to hunt you down. So, all right. Well, I tell you what, you've definitely been a blessing and opened my mind open for, again, things we never thought of. And so it's just amazing. So,
Well, I appreciate it. It was really a gift to be on with you. So thank you, James.
all right, we're done now. She says it's a gift. Everybody else, we'll see you next time. Oh, wait, man, we're not done yet. Okay, hold on, Cheri. So I appreciate you saying that. The one reason I started this is people are tired of hearing me talk, so I try to give it over to let y'all get y'all's story out. And just think, they say with this all this technology, 100 years from now, someone's going to find this, and you're going to help them. Of course, 100 years from now, they're going to say, they did what? We take things in a thimble now, and we just drink it, and boom.
There you go.
Whatever it would be. So, all right. Appreciate you being here. Cheri, we know people are hurting and struggling today. If you can leave us with a positive message, that'd be a blessing.
Don't let anyone tell you that you can't achieve your dreams.
What's those things? You hold yourself back more than the other people would talk to you. You know, we're the ones that say no, we can't, more than the people would say you can't do this, and they go, yeah, you're right. So
you can make it happen. It takes, I say, it always takes courage, perseverance, and a village that loves you, and you can, and all things are possible.
I'm all for the village, especially the village people, YMCA. So, all right, you did say perseverance again. I'm not giving you a fist bump, but
I'm gonna give you something back.
All right, there we go. Thank you. That's more important. I was going to give you a high five. So, all right. Well, I appreciate you giving me the love symbol, the heart symbol. So, all right, everybody else, hey, thank you for coming in. Be sure to share us out to someone else that you know may be struggling in a way, and Cheri will help them out the best they can. We'll get the stuff in the show notes. Everybody else, I'm Dr. James Perdue, the professor of perseverance. Do something today, tomorrow, something next week that's going to help you persevere past your Ed, Dad America, thank you for coming in. Help persevere past your paralysis.